Hey, good morning. It's Mama here. I hope everybody is having a great day. Dwayne had to go to town and run some errands, and I decided to stay back and talk to y'all. I really appreciate you all being here and all the positive comments that have come through. And I really appreciate when you guys share your thoughts and your experiences in the comments. I've noticed a couple of the conversations have been doing that. People have, met each other and shared their thoughts, and that's really great. I really want this to be a community, and hopefully everybody can be friends. Keep it real and keep it nice. I really appreciate it. So if you're new here, me and my husband Dwayne have a Wrangler school. It's a horsemanship training school of sorts. We live in Tennessee currently, but we are moving to Wyoming, so we'll be out there next year. We're just set up temporarily in this little tiny place, so it's been a little bit difficult making videos indoors. We try to do most of our videos outside because we're just in a little tiny place here, and it's hard to get a video set up. But I figured it out in front of my desk here. I cleaned it up for y'all so you didn't have to see my mess. And we're just going to talk about homeschooling this morning. So I hope that you learned something and that this can benefit you, because we all have stuff that we've experienced that we need to pass on to the next generation or other mamas. Even there are a lot of homeschooling videos on YouTube especially. So if you come across this one and it can be a help to you, great. And anyway, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing in the mornings, set the tone. The best thing you can do is set the tone for the day. If your kids are coming out and waking you up in your bed saying, "Mommy, Mommy, I'm hungry," and it's a school day, that's not a very good way to set the tone for the day. Everybody's going to be anxious and behind, and you're going to be tired and groggy, and you're going to be yelling at your kids, and they're going to be yelling at each other. So set the tone for the day. Try to get up before them. Get things ready the night before if you have to. If you're a night owl, do as much as you can at night. If you're a morning person, get up early, get things done, get things set up for the day. Get yourself set up first. You take care of yourself, Mama. You are so important. Take care of yourself and get that self-care. Get some laundry going. Get some breakfast started, maybe if the kids are not helping with that. Get your reading done. Get your yoga, whatever you do in the mornings to get yourself ready. Just take care of yourself and set the tone for the day. There's a video that Dwayne did on cowboy energy versus rodeo energy. Maybe go watch that and apply it to your homeschooling methods. Your energy level is going to set the tone for the day for the kids. Now, I understand that some of us are sick. Maybe the kids are sick. Maybe you have health issues, whatever. And I understand that, and I do sympathize with you on that. So just find out where your energy level is and match it. Let your kids get up and see that you're at least trying and you're doing your best. And it really will help. You've got to get that joy flowing through the day from the first minute in the morning. Sometimes that can be hard, but also another thing is to learn your kids' personality types. You don't have to do an online quiz or whatever, but every child is different. Every child learns differently. They learn at a different pace. Find out what your personality type is too. That helps. But if you know each of your kids, like maybe one of them is just calm, they have a calm demeanor, and they're quiet. And those, by the way, you have to watch out for those kids. I had a couple of them. And then maybe you have a very high energy child. So I have twins who, when they were little, they didn't look or act anything alike. They were best friends, and they still are to this day, but they're nothing alike. When they were little, one was very shy, very quiet, did not like to be seen or heard. She was just very meek and quiet. The other one was vivacious and outgoing and bubbly. That's the way she just was from babies. Like, she was walking before she was 9 months old, and the quiet one didn't even walk until she was 11 months old. And all of your children are different, so match that with them. Don't expect one child to learn the same way the other children did. Okay, one of my children taught herself to read at 4 years old because she didn't want to wait. She loved books. She loved reading. She still does to this day. And she would sit down and study those words and study books and watch her siblings, her older siblings. And she taught herself to read at 4 years old. I had another child who didn't even want to learn to read until he was 8. And that's okay. That's the benefits of homeschooling. You don't have to push them into anything. So don't put them at levels that they're not ready for just because they're a certain age. And another note on that is you don't have to use one specific curriculum. We never did. We very rarely had even a curriculum. Most of the times we would get books at thrift stores, yard sales. We would find ABC books, tracing books, whatever, coloring books. It all is schooling. The reason you're doing homeschooling probably is because you don't want to do things the way the public school does. So do them the way you want to do them. Yeah, your children may need to be at a certain level. If you're doing testing, that's understandable. You need them to know certain things at a certain age so they can pass the testing. If you're doing testing, some parents don't do that. If you're going to do that, though, let's say you're going to learn about frogs, okay? You can put your child down at a desk. You can put a book about frogs in front of them for a science, or you can get a science curriculum. They can learn about frogs from a book. They can look at the pictures. They can study the diagrams. They can do whatever. And then you can give them a test, and they might do okay on it. They might do great on it, whatever. Or you guys can go to the library, check out some fun books on frogs and read them, read stories. You can go to your local park, look for frogs in the pond, go to a pond somewhere, go to an aquarium somewhere, find somewhere where you can find some frogs, catch a frog, put your hands on the frog, talk about how they feel. Maybe that you get an opportunity to actually dissect a frog. That would be awesome. I'm sure there are resources out there where you can catch a frog and dissect it. Good luck with that. Maybe find a YouTube video on how to dissect a frog. So anyway, and then read your books again. Get your library books and say, remember how we read that? That was really cool. Did you see that frog, that mouth on that frog? What do you think this? And ask them questions and study that frog. Then give them a test. And which one do you think they're going to do better on the test after they study the science curriculum or they get their hands on a frog? Don't lock yourself into one specific curriculum. Sometimes it's just better to just relax and get fun books and do hands-on activities. So another thing that we did was we found some other families who homeschooled, and we did one thing that they will, I think, always remember, and it's called Presentation Day. We called it Presentation Day. We made a backdrop and everything, and all of us got together. We've all brought lunches, the picnic lunch if it was nice out, or we brought potluck style lunches. There was only like 4 of us, 4 families, but each of us had probably anywhere from 4 to 8 kids each. So that's a lot of kids, and each child for 1 month, they picked one subject and they would study that subject out. We would go to the library and get books and DVDs. We would do experiments. We would go to local places that supported their idea and taught them about it. They would study that subject out, whether it was a person, whether it was building a birdhouse, so they would learn about birds and how bird feeders work and how nests and eggs and all that. You can go really deep into this stuff. You pick a subject, each child picks a subject they want to learn about. They do the studying, they do the hands-on, one of my daughters sewed a little baby quilt. She hand stitched little pieces together and made a quilt for her baby doll bed. I think she was 8 at the time. She presented that on Presentation Day. She showed them what it was made of, where she got the material, how she stitched it together, what was the purpose for doing it. And then she did lessons on, in the old days, how we haven't always had stores to buy blankets in. They used to have to make their own blankets. So she took it way back into the, centuries ago, into hand sewing our own clothes and bedding and stuff. So I think I remember birdhouses being done, volcanoes. One of them built a volcano and erupted it. Goodness, I can't even remember all of them. At the end of the year, we did a huge thing where my kids and I wrote a play, and we each had a part in the play, and we made our own little costumes, and we practiced and practiced, memorized our lines and practiced, and we all presented that play in front of the other children, and it was a blast. I cannot tell you how much fun we had getting that ready and doing it and then presenting it. Everybody loved it. It was so fun. So try to find some things like that that you can do with your kids. Another thing is to let your older kids help with the younger kids. If you have a lot of kids, you have an 8-year-old and you have a 4-year-old, and your 4-year-old is starting to learn to color and trace, let the older child help him with that. It is so good for both of them, and it gives you some time, maybe get the dishes done or help another student and another child with another project that they're doing. It helps the child develop social skills with kids younger than them and kids their age. Your kids will not suffer socially if you homeschool, by the way. I want to throw that little nugget in. Let's see. Do not ever compare yourself to another homeschooling family. Your way is your way, and their way is their way. You do not have to do things the way that the other homeschooling families are doing them. You don't have to do them the way I did it. You don't have to do it the way that mom that looks perfect on YouTube is doing it. You do it your way. And always remember, you are under no obligation to either defend or explain yourself to anyone regarding your homeschooling, regarding your parenting, regarding your marriage. You're under no obligation to that. If somebody's going to give you their opinion, that's great. And you don't like their opinion, that's okay. If they push it on you, you can say, thank you so much for that opinion. I appreciate it very much. And then you leave it at that. You don't have to be contentious. You do things your way. You do what's best for your family and what works for you and for your family. Just take care of your own family. Don't worry about them. You're not responsible for them. You're responsible for your own family. So don't compare yourself. You're okay. You're doing a great job. Take a day off once in a while. The huge blessing of homeschooling is one day something comes up, an opportunity maybe to go on a field trip or go on a trip with your family or something over the weekend, and you have to take Friday off. Do it. You don't have to stick to your book work, okay? It's good for everybody. It benefits everybody if you can take a day off once in a while. It kind of resets and resets everybody. And then when you get back into it on Monday, you're ready to go. So take a day off once in a while from school. Wake up in the morning and say, hey kids, guess what? There's a petting zoo going on downtown. We're going to go do that for school today. Give each of them a challenge to do that day. We're going to go to the petting zoo, and each of you pick an animal that you hope to see there, hope to touch. What do you want to learn about them? Throw that in there. It's all great. They see it as a challenge and an opportunity to just have fun and learn at the same time. So you can take a day off once in a while and it's going to be okay. You're not going to get behind. Sometimes the kids are going to lose their focus on what they're doing. If you guys are at the table doing book work or whatever, give them a break. If they can't seem to focus and can't grasp maybe a math problem that they're having trouble with, have them go out and run around the house a few times. Give them a number. Have them go outside and find you a really cool rock that you can bring in and paint later on. I don't know, pick a flower. Give them something to do if you can outside at all possible, with the weather and stuff. Hey, if it's raining, they're not going to melt. Let them go out and get wet and come in and dry off and reset. Just give them that chance to reset themselves, then get back to the table and do their work. It's fine. Another thing about sitting at the table doing work, they don't have to be at the table sitting up as if they were in a schoolroom setting. Okay, sometimes that's good. It's discipline, structure. You need that structure, but not always. I remember one time coming into the living room and finding my youngest son. I think he was probably 12 at the time, and he had the footstool pulled out in the living room floor, and he was laying across it on his stomach, and his head was, he was like this on it, and his books were in front of him, and he was just doing his work, just whipping through it like crazy. He didn't have to worry that he had to sit at the table properly with his feet in front of him and sitting up and paying attention. He just did it relaxed and he got it done. And it was all correct, by the way. So for whatever that's worth, there you go. And we even did school outside, probably more often than we did school inside. We would take a sheet out and spread it under a tree, and all of us would sit out there and do our book work out there. There ain't nothing wrong with that at all. While you're out there, you can talk about things going on around you. We had a creek, we had leaves falling, we had animals, we had horses and a dog and a clothesline with laundry on it. I mean, what better setting can you even imagine for doing your schoolwork, your book work? So if you're going to have to do book work, find a way to make it a little bit enjoyable. Understand that there is a balance to things. Sometimes, some days, kids, we're going to do our schoolwork at the table today. That is fine. Maybe put some classical music on in the background and set the mood and just go with the flow. There are going to be days like that, so you do have to balance it. So figure out what works for you and just follow through with that. Okay, so the last thing is don't use your phone. When you are concentrating on your schooling and your kids, concentrate on your schooling and your kids. There's a saying that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And when your kids are doing their schoolwork and they look over, they ask you a question, and you are scrolling on social media, on your phone instead of investing in your kids, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So invest in them, show them how much you care, put your phone down. So Dwayne just got home and didn't know that I was videoing. So he walked in on me. I had to pause the video, but he brought me these. So we're going to go have a treat. And that is true love for you there. He was thinking about me while he was out doing his own things. So as always, make sure that you have grit in your homeschooling, and practice grace. Give grace to those kiddos and to your husband and to yourself. And I hope you guys have a very wonderful day, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Love you.